everyone can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Rogers.
Present.
Trustee Rangers.
Present.
Trustee Casino.
Present.
Trustee Consolino.
Present.
Trustee Bielko.
Present.
Trustee Lana.
Present.
And Mayor Yukich.
Present.
And I apologize, it's Trustee Reinders.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor. I have two. I'd like to amend I-3 to reflect the following. Quote, Trustee Dan Fiocco will be appointed as chair of the Homer Community Festival, and Trustee Beth Rogers will resign from the Homer Community Festival effective July 1st, 2021.
I'd also like to make a motion to the consent agenda to move H4 to I4A.
For clarification on Beth's motion, was that Ruben that seconded that? Okay, so are we doing a roll call first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're going to have to do it, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Is there any discussion, or am I just want a roll call for Beth?
No, you're just going to call the roll.
Okay. Trustee Fiocco.
Can we get clarification as to what we're actually voting on at the moment?
Sure. Beth, would you like to clarify, or I can do it for you?
Trustee Dan Fiocco will be appointed as chair of the Homer Community Festival, and Trustee Beth Rogers will resign from the Homer Community Festival effective July 1st, 2021.
So this vote wouldn't be to approve the appointments, this is just to amend that agenda item to include that meeting.
All right, abstain.
Trustee Casino.
Aye.
Trustee Rogers.
Aye.
Trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Trustee Consolino. Aye. And Trustee Lana.
Aye.
All right. So now on the second one to the consent agenda, what are you trying to?
I'm moving H4 to 4A and I4A.
That would be I-5.
Yeah, you should.
If you want to make it 5, it could be 5. So H4 to I5, please.
I need a second.
As far as I know, we don't need a second for when it comes out of the consent agenda. SOP 15 adopted on 11/14/2018. Motion to write, no second needed.
Then there's going to be discussion. Everyone okay with it?
It is going to be discussion, but you are correct. If you want to pull something off of the consent agenda, you have the right to do that. It doesn't have to go to a vote.
But doesn't it go to discussion when it comes up under I5?
You can come up with that as well. The mayor has the chair. He's the one who can ask if there's any discussion on it.
I just want to make sure everyone's okay with it coming out of consent and going down to the other one. So if there's no discussion, then the clerk call the roll.
There's no roll.
Okay. All right. Well then,
I have another change. Underneath executive session, can we also add language relative to potential real estate acquisition? So N2.
okay. Y'all done making changes?
Is there, are we doing?
Need a second.
Yes.
Second.
The second comes from Ms. Lahar. So now we need to vote on that.
Trustee Casino.
Aye.
Trustee Rogers.
Aye.
Trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Trustee Consolino.
Aye.
Trustee Lana.
Aye.
And Trustee Fiocco.
Aye.
Okay. So now we go into approval of the minutes for March 10th, 2021.
minutes from March 10th.
So moved.
Trustee Rogers?
Second.
Okay. Trustee Rogers? Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of March 24th, 2021 village board meeting?
Let me just make, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, for the record, trustee Fialko would like to abstain as he was not here.
Present.
That's okay. On the 10th?
That would be for the,
I'm sorry, 1 week. Oh, yeah, the 10th. Yes, 10th.
All right, so I need one for a motion on March 24th.
So moved.
Runners,
second.
trustee Guzmino. Any discussion on this one?
I will abstain.
I'm going to abstain too.
I'm going to abstain as well.
I have to get to roll call for you guys to abstain. However, you don't have to abstain because you were not at the meeting if you don't wish to choose so. If you wish to, you can still vote even though you were not here, just to clarify.
Okay, so there's no discussion, so let's call it.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Abstain.
Trustee Consolino?
Abstain.
Trustee Lana?
Aye.
Trustee Guzmino?
Aye.
And Trustee Fialko?
Present.
Mayor Yurich?
Yes. Okay, next is reports. Yes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of April 28, 2021 village board meeting?
So moved.
Trustee Rogers?
Second.
Trustee Guzmino? Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it.
For the record, Trustee Fialko would like to abstain.
Just mark it out. Okay. Now we're at reports and communications from the mayor and other offices. It's going to be a busy summer in Homer Glen. We have extended our special events and recreational programs, and we are impressed by the attendance at every single event. Next week, residents will receive the summer news brochure and the mail listing upcoming events and providing information about Homerfest. The brochure also includes updates about ongoing projects throughout the village. And plus, the weather is definitely getting a lot nicer, so please watch out for the kids in the street and keep the speed down. We'll go to the trustees and we will start with trustee Consolino.
Good evening. A few weeks ago, our country observed Memorial Day, a federal holiday that is meant to honor and mourn U.S. military personnel who have died in the performance of their military duties. It was unfortunately brought to my attention by residents of Homer Glen that our village does not participate in observing in this holiday. As a military wife with a husband that proudly serves our country, I would personally like to apologize for this oversight. I have requested from both our board and village staff that we will work together to remedy this and add this holiday onto our event calendar. I would also like to encourage our residents to please reach out with any suggestions in assisting and acknowledging them. All ideas and any networking for support are greatly welcomed by myself and the new trustees. Homer Glen has approximately 1,500 veterans residing here, while there is a total of 2,400 in Homer Township. I think that this is an important step towards our village's new goal of inclusivity for all of our residents and their needs, and I'm grateful to both our staff and our board for being receptive to this. In anticipation that I may finally be appointed at some point as chair to the Public Safety Committee, I would also like to report tonight on the Long Run Creek situation. The former board allocated approximately $50,000 of CARES funding to assist the residents in cleanup and debris removal from the creek. To date, the village has spent $30,200 for work that was provided by Homer Tree Care. Homer Tree was able to remove 6 blockages from the creek, several piles of trees and debris were removed, as well as some trees that were considered to be unsafe behind some of the homes on Creekview Drive. An additional blockage was removed near Jessica Lane. There are a few other blockages that we will be reviewing and considering having cleared in the future by Homer Tree as well. In moving forward, specifically with the Long Run Creek and the numerous issues that residents are having, I have been working with the staff on a plan to advocate for these residents and the complaints filed with outside agencies from the Village of Homer Glen's jurisdiction. We have agreed that a designated liaison will reach out to each agency. A monthly report will be generated for the board and the Public Safety Committee, and the monthly status of the complaints will be given to the residents involved until the Public Safety Committee can review the situation. At that time, the village may decide if there is a need for these reports to be expanded from 1 month to several at a time. I would like to thank our Developmental Services Director, Mike Salamovich, for taking on the responsibility of being the liaison with these outside agencies. By providing a timeline and staying consistent with contacting these intergovernmental agencies, the village is demonstrating that we are advocating to the best of our abilities. I would also like to report on an incident that occurred a few weeks ago that was during our first Farmers Market and Touch a Truck event. I came across a lost child while attending the event with my family. With Homer Fest approaching rapidly and with future events that will include many families and small children, the village staff are currently working on a new policy to include a booth that will host a booth that will act as a lost and found location for the children and their families, as well as signage and information posted on the village staff website. Kudos to our staff working to implement this procedure and who will be working to man these booths and assist our families. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Lab.
Pending the committee approvals tonight, the Ability Awareness Committee members will be at the Pre-Party Special Needs Carnival to meet and greet families and to kind of be an introduction to the community. They're also going to be passing out comment cards asking for community input on how we can best serve them. We also will be sending a link out shortly for that same information inquiry that can be shared on social media. I encourage any resident that has different abilities or may have different accessibility needs to reach out to us, as we would love to hear from you. The committee and any supporters have also been invited to be part of the Homer Township Parade, which I feel is a really exciting way to celebrate the new committee. All trustees and village staff are invited to participate as well. So anyone interested in joining here in the audience or watching is able to come and join us. The Ability Awareness Committee is also working the beer tent that Friday of the fest, and we are still looking for volunteers if anyone is interested to join us for a shift. Hot tabs are still being collected, and I have seen the competition and we are really behind. So I would try to pick up the pace a little bit, try to encourage you to give us a little boost. We really would like to win. And in addition, I just want to also give Rose some really good credit for the herb garden. I think it's beautiful. My kids love it. So thank you for doing that. You're welcome. That's my report.
Thank you, Trustee Donato. Trustee Rogers.
Reporting on behalf of the bus committee, if I could, George, if you could help me with this. This is a banner that Keith Gray made for us that will be hanging in more than likely the tent. I just picked it up today, so I apologize to the rest of us. You can see it, but basically, as I mentioned in my previous report, we're going to be dedicating the fireworks this year to Mike DeVivo. Down at the bottom, it has tonight's firework display is dedicated to Mike DeVivo, and then on the other 2 nights, he made a separate logo just to go over it that says "Thank you, Mike." So this will be prominently displayed somewhere at the fest, more than likely probably the tent. And thank you. I'm done. Thank you. I'm not, yeah.
All right, we'll go to trustee Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a couple of things. Just a reminder, our stargazing event is on Saturday, June 19th, commencing at 9 p.m. until 10:30 in Heritage Park. Beforehand, we have Crosstown Exotics who will be in the community room starting at 7:30. We also have a reminder, the deadline for the 20th Annual Community and Nature Harmony Awards is fast approaching. Nominees are currently being sought to recognize an individual or group who, through preservation, restoration, and/or beautification of land within the village of Homer Glen and/or unincorporated Homer Township, has demonstrated a commitment to the environment and in the process significantly contributing to community pride. Awards will be presented in September. For more information, please visit our website at homerglenil.org. That's all I have.
Thank you, trustee Piazza. Trustee Reiner.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to let everybody know a little bit about what's going on with the Homer Parade. The parade is Saturday, June 26th, and we still have a little bit of time. If you know anybody that is looking to, include our business or anything inside the parade, please let us know. You have about a week left to fill out applications. Right now, we have about, I would say about 35 people that have applied. And so we're still looking for work. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. We have a lot of different people that have joined the parade. So I want to let everybody know the kickoff is going to be at 11 a.m. on the 26th. And also, as Trustee Laha stated, my husband and myself planted our first herb garden in the park yesterday. So we're very proud of it, and we just ask that everybody give it a little bit of time to grow before we start going out there and picking at it. The purpose of the garden basically was to be able to teach our kids that frequent the park about sensory things, and it would be the taste, the smell, and the touch of different herbs. So just to give them a little bit of education. So and that's my report.
Thank you. Trustee Fialco.
I just want to call attention to the path that's been started. The ground has been broken between the Homer Township and the village. It's well on its way to take a look at it. You can see that the fence has been removed and the ground has been broken, and that looks to be a success at this point. That will be finished by the time the fest starts. The next thing I'd like to say is I'd like to say thank you to Lieutenant Holly and his staff looking over the numbers for this for last month, well, for the month of May. 454 calls they took, and they are the people that protect us every day from the things that go on in our community that aren't things we like to see happen sometimes, but they're there for us. And I thought about something with Lieutenant Holly. I've gone through life, and you wonder when you're growing about leadership. And you know what? What I have found with leadership is a leader is somebody, when things are going bad, they're willing to take the hit for it, or they're willing to take the blame even when it's not them that caused the problem. And the other side of being a leader is to be right next to your people when they're doing well and winning, and not be the person that takes all the credit. And that is what I have found in Lieutenant Holly, and I thank him for everything he does every day for our community. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Next will be the village clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. As Trustee Laha said, we are a little behind on the pop tabs. Not that we're promoting drinking or drinking soda, but we really need those pop tabs. We are collecting until June 30th, and the weigh-in will be on July 1st at Heritage Park during the Market in the Glen event. Again, we will be donating all the tabs to a 5-year-old girl celebrating her heart-anniversary. Her name is Lily, and she lives in Manhattan. After the weigh-in, Homer Glen, New Lenox, and a few other volunteers, John Robinson and Mike, I don't even know if you know this yet, but we discussed that you're volunteering your truck to lead Lily in a parade down to the Ronald McDonald House. We're going to escort her family, and the pop tabs immediately after the weigh-in. I wanted to thank all the volunteers for the beer tent and the parade so far. As Nikki said, or Trustee Laha said, we do need some more volunteers for both days. I want to thank everyone who already donated their pop tabs. A special thank you to Kono's Corn Maze, Cheston's Pizza, and Birchwood Gardens for donating the funds for the Disney trips with the S on the end. I also wanted to announce we have officially established a 501c3 in efforts to raise funds for the Ability Awareness Committee, such for things as parks, recreation, events, and so forth. The paperwork for that will be signed tomorrow. So thank you everyone who has participated so far in the, we call it AAC committee for short. So thank you everyone who has done your efforts so far. That's all I have here.
Thank you. Village Attorney?
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Public safety officials?
I didn't have anything until a little bit ago. Thank you, Trustee Fialco, and thank you, Board. I appreciate that. I'm very humbled to say the least. It is not me, but those who work for me, as well as those who work with me. So the Board, and especially the public, because we have to work hand in hand. We can't do it by ourselves. There's no way I could do it by myself. So thanks to working with the Board, the village, and my guys, that's why we're successful up here. It's all about teamwork, communication, camaraderie, and I just love this village. So thank you, and thank you for your comments. And thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Village Manager?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Joe, do we have any public comment? Andrea Nyman?
Sorry for my handwriting, Mayor. It's really bad.
Sorry.
I work with doctors. It rubbed off, I guess. All right. Oh, God, this is nerve-wracking. Let me start by saying that I am left center, or if you like labels, I'm a liberal in a mostly conservative area. Or more specifically, I am a Democrat, and most of the board are Republicans. If not, that's okay. That's cool. I'm totally cool with that. Why do I share this? Because I watched the last board meeting, and if that's any indication of the future, we all have a very bumpy ride ahead. This is not an admonishment, but more of a request that we find a way to work together. And this environment is tough. So I know that you guys can lead Homer Glen to new heights. I mean, that's what you were elected for. They brought in some new people. We have the old people. We need to mesh. I'm concerned about local politics because I don't want them to become like national politics. They're toxic. And while I understand the reasoning behind the last meeting, and I may even agree with it, the committees were held up because of one request, an attempt to force the mayor into acquiescing to a demand that could not be met during that meeting, which brought the whole meeting to a standstill. And it highlighted how new the board is and how they're having difficulty working together. And let me be clear, I have no dog in this fight. Ultimately, the mayor has the final say in appointing members, and those appointments have been made and they need to be approved. I won't know until later if you all came to an understanding, and hopefully I'll know before I have to jet out of here to pick up my kid. I'll have to watch it on YouTube later. I also believe that the chairs should have a significant say in who sits on those committees and perhaps the ability to appoint one member of their choosing. But really, I believe that the committee should be completely community run, with the trustees serving only in an advisory role capacity. With trustees being in charge now, they can decide what they want and they can find a way to execute it because you are on the inside. But I don't have any power here in the land of Oz. So, I only stand before you because despite my significant political differences with many people around me, I have been approached by Christine to get involved in the Ability Awareness Committee because of our shared interests with our sons. Although I'm not a member of the committee, I'm always at their disposal, as Nicole and Chris know. I have lived in Homer Glen for over 8 years, and before this year I never watched, attended, or spoke at a meeting, much less volunteered any of my time. That is twice this year here, and I've also spoken at the school board meetings now. I've only known Chris for less than a year, so it's not some long-standing friendship that brings me here. I love my community, and she does too, and she found a way for someone like me to be included. And now that she has, I have a vested interest in my community beyond just living here. Know that I take my vote seriously, and I do not abstain from voting just because of my political affiliation.
30 seconds.
Okay, sorry. The only way that I can affect change here is by voting for the people that are willing to hear me out and not only allow me to participate, but encourage me to do so. So know that you represent me, and I indeed voted for some of you here. So I know there's a divide, but there needs to be a give and take, an acknowledgement that we can't get everything that we want. And if we do that, our community will be better for it. So, thanks.
Thank you. Jessica Vasili?
I just put my name down if I have to see.
She's here for Marion Village, if needed.
We'll call her up at that point. All right, that's it for public comments. Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. Is there a motion to approve the following items? 1, the accounts payable for the period of May 28th, 2021 through June 10th, 2021 in the amount of $241,927.65. Number 2, payment of the Village of Homer Glen's April legal bills with Mahoney, Silverman and Cross LLC in the amount of $16,106.57. 3, payment of an invoice from Illinois Municipal League Risk Management Association, IMLRMA, in the amount of $28,742. Is there any discussion? Or no, I need a motion.
So moved.
Trustee Pasmino, second.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question. Do we have any idea, in reference to number 2, consider for approval payment from the village for April's legal bills for Mahoney, Silverman and Cross? Do we have any idea how much of these costs are related to the Township Road District lawsuit that was initiated by the former Township Supervisor?
Trustee Consolino, there are 2 separate invoices part of this. So the second invoice for $10,000 is, I believe, in regards to the road district issue. So at least for this month, that is a breakdown for that. About $10,000 for the road district.
Thank you.
And then on the sheet, there's a spreadsheet in the back that provides a breakdown over the last year of the different issues and what the costs are.
Thank you.
Josie, do you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, any others? All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Lahn?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Pasmino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Legislation and action items. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-024, an ordinance approving a variance to reduce the rear yard setback for an above-ground pool from 15 feet to 10 feet for a certain real property located at an R4 single-family residential district at 14225 South Parker Road, Homer Glen, Illinois, case number HG2110B. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Trustee Pasmino. Trustee Fielko. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I just want to make a few comments on this before we vote. For one, the Plan Commission voted 7-0 to adopt this. I was out there today, I took a look at it, and this variance is for moving the pool from 15 feet to 10 feet. The way I understand it, there are other villages where 10 feet is the marker from the property line. The pool that's being installed is I believe, a 24-foot flow above ground pool. The amount of water that's taken out of that pool every year to put it into winter storage is minimal. We have had the same pool in our family for several years, so I know that the water issue with draining it a little up 1 foot to be able to winterize it is not a problem. I looked at the property and the way it flows over there. I don't see a problem with that at all. I do see that some of the neighbors had some concerns. Will County was also out there, and they wrote off on it with the septic that it was okay with them. So we have Will County giving it the okay, we have the Plan Commission giving it the okay, and I have the experience of having an in-ground pool for many years, knowing that that does not release that much water into the drainage area at any one particular time of the year. So that would be my discussion.
Are either of the residents here?
Yeah.
George, can you come up?
Is it your pool that you?
Yes.
Okay. And is the neighbor here that has a problem or has the questions about possible drainage?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you want to do. Explain it to us. I know we have the pictures here, and I had some questions about it. But from my understanding, it's you don't have water coming in. There's an issue with the neighbor that says that there may be some water issues.
Yeah, so that's the concern is because his concern is that that drainage never gets cleaned out, so the water always builds up and it causes problems for him. So that was his concern. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I'm installing the pools, maintaining pretty much.
Can you tell me what kind of a septic system you have? Is it cement or is it ground?
It's cement with the lines.
Okay. All right.
But as far as your pool, you're not releasing water on any regular basis into that area where they're considering the drainage, correct?
Correct.
The only time that you would be doing that is to take about a foot of water out of it, to put the pillow in, to then put the cover on it, right?
Correct.
So there is no water being released from the pool on a regular basis that should be creating any
No,
problem.
it shouldn't. I've had pools before, so I know how to maintain them. It's not an issue.
Thank you.
There's something that wants to be addressed.
Yes, he wants to.
Are you one of the neighbors? Yes. Okay. Let him finish and then we can, thank you. Are there any other questions for the homeowner?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, sir, if you want to come forward.
Yeah, I'm one of his neighbors. I have a water problem behind my shed, which is a drainage ditch. It doesn't drain. It doesn't go anywhere. The water has been in there for over 2 years. Now, you were saying that drainage from a pool, where is that going to go? Into the ditch and behind my shed and fill up the culvert. It doesn't go anywhere. And when it rains, it bypasses the culvert and runs down 2 houses and then between the houses out to the street, the Chickasaw. This water, I've been battling this for years, and I'm getting nothing done. Nothing. Nobody can do anything, because you said, I was told, the village didn't put it in, Homer didn't put it in, I didn't put it in. It was there when I moved there over 20 years ago, and it's never been plugged up like it is now. In fact, the ditch was dry for about maybe 3 years, till about 3 years ago. Then this water started coming, a lot of water, and it just plugged up and it's just pooled right there. I can swim in it. That's how deep it's getting. So I'm worried about mosquitoes. I'm worried about the septic tank, and I don't know what else to do but fill in the ditch, because they're not doing anything. Just fill it in and forget about it. Let the water go wherever it wants to go.
No, you can't do that.
Well, then the village has got to help me do something.
Let me finish. Could we get someone to go over there and take a look before we get an approval from this, because we don't want to make something worse than what it is already?
I mean, we've been there multiple times. The drain that he's referring to was constructed. It's privately owned by one of the homeowners there. It was constructed years ago, so, back when it was the United Township Road District, they didn't touch that because it was a private drain. It periodically does need to be cleaned out, especially in the fall when you have the leaves. I know in the past we've had discussions about the recommendations to the homeowners to construct swales, basically from the backyards towards the front. As he has mentioned, the water travels a few doors down and then actually goes to the front. Because obviously all of the water is trying to drain towards the tributary to Long Run Creek, so it's basically going from east, or from the west to the east, and being Parker Road being actually higher than the properties that are along the east side of it. The pool is actually upstream from this area, so it's, as far as blocking any water, it's not going to be blocking any water. And then typically, years ago, the village actually modified the lot coverage for the swimming pools to 50%, because actually you will get a little bit of storage out of the pools during rains, because typically you're not keeping the water level to the complete top of it. So they do provide a little bit of actual storage. So as a result, the lot coverage for the pools was reduced to 50% to kind of give a little bit of compensation for the homeowners that are constructing the pools. We can certainly go out there and take a look. If you'd like, we can certainly do that.
Well, I think that would be very important, because if we allow this pool to be built in and then it does grow a lot more, we need to know what it would take to fix it or change the direction of whatever you have to do. We can't dump if there is an issue with this.
If I'm hearing this right, though, this has been done. Everybody's been out there. You have been out there, correct, Mike?
Correct.
The drainage issue is a drainage issue from long ago. It has nothing, it's not related to the pool.
Correct.
The pool being 10 feet off the property line is not going to be in the way of the drainage that's already exists, correct?
Correct. The pool
So
will be upstream.
the placement of the pool is upstream, out of the way, 10 feet off of whatever that would be. So the pool's not causing a hardship with water, correct?
Correct.
So for us to go out there again, to me, doesn't make sense when it was approved by the commission 7-0. People have been out there over the years for the drainage thing, and sir, I'm sorry for the issues that you're having, but we're kind of focusing on the pool portion of it and how it may affect what you're speaking of. And from my observation today when I was out there, and from the planning commission, and from Mike being out there in the past, I don't see the pool as an issue at this point.
No, it's not the pool, it's the water. The
Right.
water from the pool, where's he gonna drain it to?
The pools don't get drained though. Pools don't.
You yourself just said the pools gets drained, partially drained for the
One
winter.
foot comes out of it to be able to put it in the winter storage, yes. But as far as creating a water problem where it would damage property or anything,
There's already a problem.
I have a question. When was the last time, first of all, I want to thank both of you for coming. I'm listening to both of you, and I really thank you for coming and expressing your concern. It matters to us. When was the last time it was cleaned out?
Probably 3 years ago.
Okay. And that was done by you as the homeowner?
I used to take care of that ditch. I cut all the weeds down, rake it, clean it all out, and then all of a sudden the water starts coming. They're pumping water 24/7, every day.
Well, someone's got to be pumping some water somewhere.
This ditch starts at 143rd, and it runs north. So, I mean,
There are septic fields that are contributing to some of the water. All of those homes are on septic, well on septic, so.
But I would agree with Fiocco in that it is two totally separate issues. One is the pool that we've been told is not going to affect his drainage, and the other is his drainage. And I'm empathetic to you because I have the same exact problem on my property, and I've had it since forever. And I get all this water, and there's a culvert, and they say the culvert's broken, and the village says, well, it's on your property, so you replace it. I didn't put it in there, and so I am extremely empathetic to you, and I do understand it. But we are talking about two separate issues. One is the pool that the county has signed off on, and the engineers have looked at it, they don't see it as being an issue, and then his is a separate issue that, you know, staff has looked at several times according to the packet, and it's the property owner.
I don't have an issue with the pool. I have an issue with the water that's coming out of the pool. And where's it gonna go? Because the ditch runs across, like I said, it starts at 143rd and it runs north. And I got the only culvert there. It's behind my house. I didn't put it in, it was there 20 years ago when I moved in. So I can't see how I could be responsible for taking care of this. I've called plumbers and everything, and they don't know what to do. I said, get the village involved. So I don't know what else to do.
Has anyone tried to clean out the?
Yeah, my wife has been out there for 2 weekends raking everything out of it. It just doesn't go down. I was gonna have a suction truck come out, but they cleaned it. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
If I can make a suggestion, this actually happened once in front of my house when I lived on Wilcook Road, and there was a company that came out and put something, I don't do this for a living, but put something in the culvert to see how far it clears, and then find out where the issue is, and then they can measure, and then you can find out where it's clogged at. Has that been done?
No. Nobody knows where this drain goes.
Well, that's what.
It's gotta go to the creek.
Right, the same thing happened to me. They didn't know where it went to, but what actually happened was a road was built and cut it off, so it was backing into like a cement road. So what they did was they put this thing through it and saw how far it went, they found out where it stopped, and then they realized it was the road that was blocking it. So I mean, that's just a suggestion. I'm happy to get you that person's information. If that, I mean, I'm just making a suggestion. That's how they figured out where the problem was coming up in my home.
No, that's a good idea.
I could talk to somebody about it. You know, I want to get this corrected. Because I'm worried about mosquitoes, West Nile, I get dogs, I septic, I get kids. Just, you know, someone's going to end up in this ditch and drown. Then who's responsible? Is it my problem? Because it's on my property? No, I don't think so.
I actually believe Mike was involved in that process, so Mike said he can help you with that, right, Mike? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Is there a motion to approve?
Um,
the-
I need to do roll call if there's no more discussion.
All right, just a roll call, please.
Trustee Panzino.
Aye.
Trustee Laha.
Aye.
Trustee Fielko.
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino. Aye. Trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Trustee Rogers.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-025, ordinance approving one, an amendment to the plan unit development with an exception to reduce the required parking from 267 spaces to 149 spaces, site plan approval, and a variance to exterior construction standards for certain real property located in the C3 General Business District of 15624 Marion Drive, Glen, Illinois, case number HG 2103 DS.
So moved.
Trustee Casarino. Your second?
Second.
Who's on it?
I know it's two, I don't know who's first.
There we go.
We go with trustee Fielko. Discussion?
Mary did reach out to a resident over there who is very active in the community and asked him, I saw the questions and answers that came back from Marion, but none of it really answered how the residents felt. So in speaking to him, he said that there really was no pushback there, that there wasn't any kind of like
drama or hubbub around it. It is what it is, type of thing.
Any other discussion or questions?
That answers my question. I was concerned about what the residents felt and wanted since they're living there, so that answers my question.
Thank you. No other discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Lana?
Aye.
Trustee Biago?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pedino?
Aye.
Motion carries. So, number 3, is there a motion to approve the mayor's appointments to the village's committees as outlined on the supplemental sheet, including the appointments effective July 1st, 2021?
I so move.
Second.
You're first.
Mr. Mayor, just so you know, the updated list is on the screen for your reference.
All right. Number 1, the Mayor's Ability Awareness Committee, appointments of Chairperson Trustee Nicole Laha, committee members, Village Clerk Christina Knightsky-Troike and Karen Adamczyk, Heather Bleak, Angela McKenna, Robert O'Connor, and James Crones.
I so move.
So we're going to vote on this one, we're going to vote on this one, we're going to vote on this one, we're going to vote on this one.
Yeah, that's not a motion, sure.
Well, it's all.
Can you have discussion after each one? Can you do discussion possibly after each one?
We can do discussion as a whole. The way the appointment is set up right now, it's a one. More approval for everything like you did. There was proposed at last meeting.
Okay. So,
For the same discussion. Yeah.
all right. That's absolutely fine. All right, you okay?
Didn't want to hit it.
2, the mayor's
No,
administration.
he's saying you don't have to read them all, right? Is that what you're
You're
saying?
just saying let's go?
Yeah, let's just roll with it.
I mean, if we're not voting on each individual one, we don't have to read
All
everything.
the appointments.
Trustee Biago, are you okay with that?
That's not what I was asking. Okay, that's absolutely fine.
So I'm not good with voting on all of them. That's the way it's set up anyway. So we're good with voting on all of them. I just wanted to say one thing for discussion. I'll do that before we vote.
Yep.
Motion's already been made.
All right, thank you. I just want to, I know there was some chatter and there was some talk today about the committees. Just because the committees didn't make its way through last time doesn't mean that things can't be taken care of, and they were. We needed to have some discussion. I'll reference Article 2 on committees. And basically it says the village president shall appoint the chairperson who shall be a member of the village board of trustees and members of each committee with the advice and consent of the village board. So just because there was not an immediate agreement on something doesn't mean that we can't all work together, which we have. It just took one more meeting to get there, I guess, is what it comes down to. So it wasn't a matter of not being able to work together. We worked together very well. It's just required a little bit more discussion to get to the point that we were all on the same page. And we're there today.
Thank you, Trustee Biago, for clarifying on that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that my change is noted in there.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Lana?
Aye.
Trustee Biago?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
And Trustee Pedino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay,
Congrats to the committee members.
Congratulations to the new committee.
and to all the members. All right. Next will be approval of changes to the 2021 meeting calendar for the environmental committee. Is there a motion to approve the attached changes to the 2021 meeting calendar for the Environmental Committee?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Fielko, trustee Castellino. Discussion? Everyone's fine with the dates? Yes, sir. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Castellino. Aye. Trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Trustee Rogers. Aye. Trustee Kazmino.
Aye.
Trustee Lana.
Aye.
Trustee Fielko.
Aye.
Okay, now, go to 5. All right, is there a motion to approve pay estimate number 1 and 2 from Austin Tyler Construction Inc. for the 2020 Drainage Improvement Program in combined amounts of $456,168.76?
So moved.
Trustee Casimino,
Second.
trustee Rogers. Discussion?
Okay, the discussion, the reason I moved this down to I-5 was for a couple of reasons. In the past week or 2 weeks, we were receiving complaints. This job was set up, there's actually two spots where some work was done, and this is all combined together. Chickasaw on Octagon Court, I believe that's the way you pronounce it. And then in Woodbine on Eagle Ridge, there was some work done as far as drainage improvement. When I was getting complaints from the residents about how that job has turned out, I actually asked Trustee Casimino to go with me to take a look. We did that. Today I asked Matt, the village manager, and Mike to come out and take a look at it also. We had residents coming out of their houses while we were there, explaining their dislike for what took place and how things are at this moment. But the way this is put together, it's paying 2 different locations at one time, which is okay. And it's been pointed out that the repairs that were made to the asphalt aren't included at this time. And what is you said there's another fee that's going to be sent to the village for that portion of it, and that total is what?
I don't know what that final pay estimate, there will be another pay estimate in 3, probably on the agenda.
Because right now we're at about $500,000, $456,168.76 to do this. After we walked this job down, Mike had a few ideas what he could do or how to approach the people that actually did the work. There is not a problem so far with the sewer portion of it and the work that was done. It came to the portion of the road and the way that got left and the way the road was cut and then the way it was repaved, leaving little lips and edges when water gets under there for the first freeze and then the snowplows come by. That is the concern with the way it was finished, not with the way the job was, put together for the sewer portion of it. So as far as putting this in or tabling this, that was my thought at first. But being that there is the paving end of it, Mike, did you talk to them today after we talked? And
I did not talk to the contractor yet, no.
Okay. We went to the Octagon Court also, and there's nothing wrong on that end. The job was perfect over there. Did not have the same issues as Eagle Ridge and the Woodbine subdivision, but yet these are all kind of blended together. It was my thought that we should negotiate getting that fixed for the residents the way it should be fixed. I was always told do things right the first time. It doesn't look like we did that at this point, and we had 3 or 4 different people come out there while we were there. And so there is definitely a concern. If anybody's got any ideas on how you want to handle this up to this point, I'm willing to listen. But I think when we pay things off completely, we kind of lose our leverage to getting things done correctly. That would be my opinion. And Mike, if you've got any other suggestions, you saw what things look like out there.
Trustee Pialko, I just wanted to address the question you had about the cost of the pavement. That line item is about $82,000 in the contract. So that money, because it was completed, would be on pay estimate 3, the next one that will be submitted through HR bringing it back to the village.
So the balance would be $82,000?
That's just for the pavement portion. There's additional landscaping work that would be part of that pay estimate 3.
In addition to that, there's a punch list. Now, everybody knows how that works with contractors. Sometimes they get busy during the season and the punch list gets put at the bottom of the pile, and then when they get time, they come back and take care of a punch list. So we have 2 issues. We've got a punch list, and we also have the condition of the road that the residents are not happy with the way it looks right now. And it isn't just the way it looks. That's kind of the way it started or was thought to be the problem. It's actually the way it's put together, the way it was cut, and the lines aren't straight. Everything kind of jig-jags around. There's lips to the asphalt where it is not compacted into a 90-degree angle. And I see what the residents are talking about when they are making their complaints. So.
Well, I'm so sorry.
Austin Tyler has done a lot of work for us. He'll stand up. We fix something, and they'll take care of the problem.
And this is far from being paid out, and we always have a holdback pending final inspection and punch list. So this is far from being paid out. They're not asking for anything relative to that paving to be paid generally strong.
There's approximately $200,000 that would be remaining to be paid out on this project.
After the $456,000.
Correct.
So would it be your recommendation to put this through then, and then you can work with them to get things taken care of?
We'll talk to the contractor. Obviously, this is going to be, these 2 pay estimates are for the work that they've done to date, which does not even include the pavement issue. So obviously, the recommendation would certainly be to pay them for the work that they've already done to date. And then we can discuss the other issues and look at other options for the completion of the road.
Okay, then we call attention to it. If that's your recommendation, I completely understand.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Locke?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is going to be a presentation on Rethink Joliet Water Project and the Water Commission formation. So if you would like to step forward and
Mayor, trustees, thank you very much for allowing me to make this presentation this evening. My name is Allison Swisher. I'm the Director of Public Utilities for the City of Joliet, and I was invited here this evening by Matt to go ahead and make a presentation introducing you to the alternative water source program that was initiated in Joliet and the formation of a regional water commission that we've been working on for the past couple of years. So Matt, just let me know when the slides are ready. Okay, so just, I understand about, 20 minutes this evening, so I hope this can be interactive. If you want to stop at any time and ask any questions, please feel free. I, talk water a lot, so if I'm just talking about something that doesn't really make sense, again, please stop me and I'll try and help clarify it. So again, the agenda tonight, I want to just really talk about the reason that we kind of embarked on this program to find an alternative water source for the city of Joliet and then potentially the region. The program that we've specifically been working on in Joliet, and then again, that potential to form a regional water commission that would be a regional solution to the issue at hand. So in the southwest suburbs, many communities rely on groundwater for their water source, and that includes both shallow wells and deep wells. And what, through research that's been done in recent years, really been identifying issues with groundwater being a reliable and high-quality water source. So for the deep aquifer, there's been issues with water quantity. The Illinois State Water Survey has found that the aquifer itself just simply isn't sustainable and can't be recharged at levels that would provide a reliable water source. And so that's City of Joliet's water source is this deep aquifer. And so that's, we've been informed that we will not be able to meet our demands by 2030. And so that was the impetus for us to start with this program. Other communities rely on shallow wells. However, there's issues of water quality with the shallow wells, namely chlorides as well as PFAS. There's been sampling done at local wells that show that chloride levels are rising, mostly from runoff from road salt. And then also there's also been sampling done by EPA that shows that PFAS is been found in wells locally that would ultimately trigger treatment requirements in the near future. So with that, issues related to groundwater is really an opportunity for a regional solution to water issues. And we find that there's many benefits to a regional water solution, providing that high quality, sustainable water supply for users that will support, the economic development that is still anticipated to occur in the Will, Grundy, and Kendall counties. Through the economies of scale that come with working together with other communities, we anticipate that we could then lower those costs, impacts to all of the community members. And we do have a lot of support from state and local and federal legislators to really work together and support regionalization efforts. And also there's an opportunity for participation in the control of a Lake Michigan water source. So I'm just going to talk briefly about the specific program that we've been working on in Joliet for the past few years. Again, as I mentioned, we were informed with the Illinois State Water Survey that our current water source is not sustainable. This isn't a new issue, but it wasn't really known until recently that we had such a small time frame in order to find another water source. So Mayor Order Kirk and Joliet, tasked myself and our environmental commission with proposing a study to find a new water source. This study was done in multiple phases, beginning in 2018. The first phase was focusing on really looking at every possible water source that could provide water to Joliet. Really wanted to make sure we didn't leave any stone unturned. So we looked at river sources, multiple lake water sources, and also looking at different groundwater sources. And so based on that evaluation, we looked at water quality and water quantity. There were 5 water sources that were forwarded then to this phase 2 evaluation that took a deeper dive into looking at other criteria to evaluate those 5 water sources, which included the Illinois River, the Kankakee River, and then 3 Lake Michigan options. At the end of 2020, or in January 2020, the City Council directed us to evaluate 2 Lake Michigan alternatives. One was purchasing water from the Chicago Department of Water Management, and the other was building a new intake in Indiana and piping the water to Joliet. After a thorough evaluation of those 2 alternatives, the City Council did select purchasing water from the Chicago Department of Water Management and then conveying that water 31 miles in a new transmission main out to the southwest suburbs to provide that Lake Michigan water to the city and other potential partners. So briefly, just want to hit some highlights of what that project entails. We will be utilizing Chicago's existing water treatment facility. They have the world's #1 and #2 treatment facilities. This water will be treated at the Eugene Sawyer water purification plant located on the south side of Chicago, and then conveyed through a tunnel system to about 84th and Kedville, which is located near Midway Airport. At that point, The commission that's in the process of being formed will then begin to build new infrastructure at that location, which would then ultimately convey the water out to the southwest suburbs. So that infrastructure that's there in blue would be what would be owned, operated, and maintained by the new commission. This capital cost in 2020 dollars ranges from about $600 million to $800 million, depending on the size of the facilities that are constructed. So then once we leave the site there near Midway Airport, there's going to be 31 miles of transmission main that will be constructed. This is probably going to be in the 54-inch to 60-inch diameter, so very large pipe. This is just a very conceptual transmission main route, so please don't focus too closely on that route as it does go through the various communities, as this is something that's going to be modified once we know which communities are participating in the regional water system. So one thing I do want to highlight is just the agreement that we've negotiated with Chicago for the purchase of this water. We have a preliminary water supply agreement that has identified key terms with them, and I'll just say it's a very significant departure from the terms of many of the water purchase agreements that Chicago's other wholesale customers have. And I want to hit on some of those highlights, especially the basis for the costs and fees, as well as the commitment to transparency and collaboration. So I know in recent years, Chicago has raised their rates significantly, which has then resulted in wholesale customers having to pass those costs onto their residents. And we've always felt that was unfair to convey some of those increases in rates that were being utilized to fund projects being solely completed within Chicago for the benefit of Chicago residents. And so that was one of our key terms that we negotiated with Chicago, was that in this agreement we would only be paying for those facilities and services that directly were required to provide the water service to Joliet and other commission members. So very specifically list items such as water main distribution improvements in Chicago, lead service line replacement in Chicago, water meter installation in Chicago. So again, many things that they had been utilizing, suburban ratepayers, fees to pay for within Chicago. And another important part of this agreement is that there's a rate cap on the adjustments that can be made. I know in the past there's been rate increases 15% for multiple years, and this would cap it at the lesser of three different options: a cost of service increase, an inflation index, or a fixed 5%. So our city council felt very confident that they could go to their residents and say that their water rate would never go up by more than 5% above the purchase water rate from Chicago. So again, this is a significant departure from any agreement that Chicago currently has in place, and we feel very fortunate that we're able to leverage the city's activities in order to obtain an agreement that will be to the benefit. They are looking at modifying other agreements with their other wholesale customers, but that hasn't happened yet. The other significant item that was negotiated with Chicago was this commitment to transparency and collaboration. Another concern that many of the wholesale customers have was that there was no involvement or even discussion with Chicago, for matters that impacted rates, as well as other items impacting just the operations of the water system. So Chicago has agreed in this agreement that they are going to form an advisory council, of which Joliet and the Regional Water Commission would be a member of. And this advisory council would be able to provide meaningful input that can influence then rate setting and other items that will ultimately impact on the rates that all of our residents pay. So again, I just have to say this is I know you guys have do have Lake Michigan water here, and I know all the residents are impacted by ultimately these agreements that exist with Chicago. So we are very excited that we were able to negotiate with Chicago a very favorable agreement. So there's a lot of work to be done, but we're very confident this construction will be completed by 2030. This very detailed slide just shows all the various construction contracts that are going to be ongoing in order to get the project completed by 2030, which is again the deadline that Joliet has before our water source won't be able to meet maximum day demands. Our big picture schedule is, starting this year, we're doing a lot of the preliminary engineering design work. We'll start final design next year, and then construction would start in 2025, again with that goal that the new water source would be online by 2030. To help keep the city really, grounded and making sure that we're meeting our ultimate goal, we have developed a strategic plan, which is being used to guide the development of the program. And, really we have this vision that we want to really be recognized by our customers, employees, elected officials, and regional partners, as providing a sustainable, reliable, and high-quality water source. And really that mission is to then implement that new water source by 2030. We have a team of experts on board. This program is a huge undertaking, and it does really take a village to get this done. We have engineers on board, we have attorneys, lobbyists, financial advisors, a whole host of various consulting firms working with us on this project. And that team has already begun the preliminary engineering design, lots of activities as shown on the slide that are ongoing in order to again, get this project completed. We've developed a funding strategy that's leveraging state and federal low-interest loans. And in fact, we've secured $731 million from the WIFIA program, which is a low-interest loan program funded through the federal government. There's a lot of other activities that are ongoing. We're continuing a robust public engagement strategy. We've submitted our Lake Michigan allocation permit. We're developing relationships with state and federal legislators so that we can be well positioned when funding does become available. And we're continuing to work with the City of Chicago to negotiate the final water supply agreement. So again, that is just really quickly some background information on the Joliet side of where we've gotten to this point. And really tonight I just want to focus on this Regional Water Commission, which I think is a fantastic opportunity for local government to work together to for the betterment of our residents. And so we have from day one really focused on this being a regional solution. We've engaged with communities over the past 2.5 years via multiple meetings, one-on-one meetings, group meetings, multiple surveys to really get that input from other communities to understand what interest level there might be in forming a regional water commission and what preferences they might have. And this shows the communities that at this point we are still in discussions with. So it's 12 communities including Joliet. You can see it ranges all throughout the region, crossing multiple counties. We are meeting monthly with staff members as well as the mayors and managers from these communities in order to form the Water Commission. We know this is a huge undertaking to bring together so many different communities and really come to an agreement on something that will work for everyone. But we've had a lot of success already with working on various governance issues. There's been consensus on a number of key terms that would impact the Water Commission formation, namely the board makeup, which there would be a representative from each member community that would be an elected official. We would form a technical advisory committee that would consist of staff members from the communities that would help advise the board of the commission board. The commission would contract with Joliet for program implementation. That was critical for Joliet. Again, we have a very firm deadline in 2030 that we need to have this new water source online. And so that was a critical element for Joliet. And then there's a number of issues related to voting that are being worked out, and that there would be a supermajority vote required for certain decisions that have greater impact. So again, these are all items that we've worked on in the past few months to come to consensus on. I've also come to an agreement on the delineation of ownership. And so as is typical with other water commissions, the commission would construct, own, and maintain all of the common transmission mains up to a delivery point within each community. And each community would then construct, own, and operate the facilities downstream of that delivery point. And I think this little schematic kind of helps clarify that point, that all that infrastructure in green would be owned, operated, and maintained by the Water Commission. And then anything beyond those delivery points would be the ownership and maintenance responsibility for the individual communities. And so under this structure, your geographic location is irrelevant to the overall cost of the program. We always call this the all-for-one approach, where everyone benefits by encouraging more members to participate. We've also broken up the costs into multiple components, and again, this is another item that the commission members have come to consensus on. There would be 3 components of cost: the volumetric cost, the capital cost, and then the commission administration. The volumetric cost is basically the amount of water that each community would use, and each commission member would purchase that water at the same rate. The capital costs, which are the costs again to build the system, would be divided proportionally based on that community's maximum day demand capacity in 2050. Maximum day demand is the amount of water you would use on the hottest day when everyone's watering their grass and using their pools. And that's important because that is how you size the system. You would build the system to be able to meet that maximum day, and so that's how the capital costs are anticipated, are planned to be distributed. And the last one is the commission administration. Again, this is for any staff the commission might hire, or any other operation costs to operate that commission facility, and these would be split equally among the commission members. This range of costs was presented earlier this year. We're in the process of updating these costs, and that would be presented to the group in July. And so I know each community is anxiously awaiting this information so they can incorporate these new dollar amounts into their evaluations. And again, developing, the Water Commission is not a simple task. There's multiple things that we have to review, agree, and come to consensus on. And these are just some of the key items listed here. Again, some of them have already been discussed and reached consensus, such as the delineation of ownership, and then others are still being worked on, such as, what the startup costs might be, the initial buy-in, what that cost might be, and then also some of the more detailed voting structures. We do have a timeline, and again, we are working with these communities on a monthly basis, having really good discussions with understanding what information people might need in order to make this decision. Multiple communities are doing their own kind of studies that I had presented that we had done in Joliet, looking at all their different alternatives. But specifically related to the Regional Water Commission, there's a number of key documents that would guide this timeline. The first is a resolution of intent to negotiate the creation of the Water Commission, and that's simply what it states, that it's just a resolution that communities are passing showing that they're intending to negotiate, participate in the meetings that we're having. And this is really just to help demonstrate that communities are seriously considering this alternative, and it kind of helps provide some clarity for the other communities that are very seriously participating. We're working on Water Commission enabling legislation. We have a great opportunity here to really make this commission what we want it to be, and that would require modifications to the current state statutes for water commissions. We're currently working on that with our special legal counsel, and actually at the next mayors and managers meeting, we'll be presenting what that draft legislation looks like with some key questions that need to be answered by the group. But that would be, as anticipated, to be passed this fall in the veto session. There's also an ordinance to join the Water Commission. I think one of the main questions I always get is when do I have to make a decision? And we're looking for that decision to be made by the end of January of 2022. We understand that communities are doing various studies to evaluate their options, and want to be clear that we do need to have that decision made by the end of January, because that is critical for us moving forward with design. We do need to know what that final design is going to be and what size we're moving the system to. Once the commission is formed, then there will be bylaws approved by the Water Commission Board of Directors,
as well as then water supply agreements that would be approved by each of the members. And that in effect is, documenting that you are, purchasing water from the Water Commission, and we'll be using that then to support issuance of debt. So again, many key documents that will answer all the questions that we're discussing at these Water Commission formation meetings. For communities who are interested in looking at becoming a Lake Michigan, water user, there's multiple responsibilities that each community will have to do that, the commission will not be doing. Those are, listed here. Providing storage, implementing the modifications of your own system, obtaining a Lake Michigan allocation permit, and then performing other corrosion control studies to ensure a proper transfer of water to a new water source. And this last slide, I just wanted to revisit this. I know I presented this earlier, but I do really just want to hit on the real benefits of working together with other communities. I know, here in Homer Glen, you have many options that, could provide a high quality Lake Michigan water source, to your community. But we do really feel that with this Regional Water Commission is the best opportunity to have the most control, over that water source. We have a lot of information at our website, rethinkwaterjoliet.org, copious amounts of reports and other information. So if you do want more information on what we've been working on in Joliet, then our website is a great resource. So that I know is very quick, and I would welcome any questions.
Thank you.
I'll just say it's a lot of information to take in, and I'm hopeful we can get a copy of this PowerPoint so that we can better absorb it, and then additionally if we could get your contact information, because it is a lot. It's very confusing, even following our current system that we have and all the litigation and everything that's with that is it's very time consuming. So if we could get a copy of this and your contact information so that we have more time to better absorb it and have intelligent questions to ask.
Yes, definitely, of course. And I said we have lots of these, your staff has been attending, so we definitely appreciate that. We do, like, the trustees and the board to consider the model resolution if you're serious about considering this alternative. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there any old business? Is there any new business? The next item is executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for purposes of discussing potential litigation and acquisition?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
You seconded it? Okay, we'll take 5 minutes.